What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. Give you an overview of what on earth is happening, go over some of the data points and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is down 1.14%, 1551 the low, 1620 the high. There's a lot of fear in the market, a lot of which stemming from these data points. So you had non-farm payroll coming in a lot lower than the forecast, so 143,000 versus 205 the forecast. You also just had the Michigan consumer sentiment very low, so signaling a potential slowdown might be starting, but 67.8 and the forecast was 72. The only positive was unemployment, which was 0.1 below the forecast, but I think right now the market's kind of just brushing that to the side and focusing on these two negatives. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that, SoundHound doesn't have any news, no SEC filing, so it is just piggybacking off of the broader market. We have another very interesting day that you have, whatever reason, shorts returning. So this is the third day, returning 406,000 shares. 32.1% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 105.71 million shares. So obviously by analyzing this information, I would come to the conclusion that maybe they're acting on that they see SoundHound moving higher, but I think in general, maybe it just might be mitigating broader market risks. So bigger entities, if they're shorting a lot of stocks, that are cutting some of their kind of profitable ones just to average out risk, possibly. One thing that did come out, not official PR, but on social media, they did post this. And I think it was like an hour ago or 20 minutes ago. So we're heading to Connected Health and Fitness Summit. So they're definitely getting their name out there. So I think they're doing very good with that. The only problem is we haven't really seen that very high level of partnerships. But I think all in all, that should be coming, hopefully from their upcoming earnings. They'll clarify on that. And there's another stock that very similar to SoundHound, and that is Resolve AI. They just put out news a couple of days back, which has caused obviously a lot of buying, it to go up 23%. But I think this goes to show the huge untapped potential of SoundHound. So just Resolve, it goes over how 2025 they kind of locked in Dunkin', BJ's, Kohl's, so a lot of big names. And I think ultimately SoundHound does have a better product than them. Management for Resolve seems to be a little bit more engaging and good at, and I think they have a lot of previous experience to match this, but I think they're really good at getting these types of deals. But SoundHound, for the most part, my interpretation, I think they have a better product. So I think SoundHound really does need to work on that in 2025. Is just to, I get like doing these summits and conferences is good to get your name out there, but is this really driving in business? Or I don't know. I feel like SoundHound does really need to focus on that in the short term. But aside from that, though, looking at options, 3.71 million in calls, 1.2 million in puts. 46% of all the options being done today are optimistic in nature. So generally, this is also another bullish point that maybe big money or just retail is seeing more upside, so a potential recovery soon. And then just to give you a quick overview, so you have 4.9 million in total premium, so rather low stuff. But of the call options that are being purchased today, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $17 range, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub roughly 15 for the foreseeable future. So based on that, there's a little bit more upside anticipated. With today being Friday, this is what the current open interest is. So you have 6,000 at that 15, 3,000 at that 15.50, 11,000 at 16, 10,000 at 16.50, and so forth. So if SoundHound is able to recover and close above 16, then you could see a corresponding bump on Monday, as big money has to pretty much buy these shares because they don't have a lot of volatile stocks such as SoundHound in their inventory. But aside from that, though, these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. Everything that does show as a ask is a buy. But no matter what, though, even looking at the sells, there's obviously a buyer on the opposite end of that. So it's kind of good, bad. But nonetheless, though, I think this does signal that there is a lot more interest coming from institutions. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. But aside from that, though, with it at $15.67, It is trading between these 2 points, so this R2 and this R1. So 1572 looks like it's flirting with it right now, but ultimately you'll really want to watch for it to close above that in order to really kind of piggyback off of all the bullish data points that I've been bringing up for it to really move higher. So watch for that. $15.10 is going to be the following support. Didn't really touch that whatsoever. And then if it is able to get above this R2, then you can kind of see a move to the R3 possibly in the foreseeable future. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that, no real substantial analyst ratings, nothing, anything really behind the scenes moving it. With it right now at 15 and change, it is right now above that 50-day moving average, so this yellow line. So generally very bullish. That is a very key pivot for SoundHound, and as I've mentioned over the last couple of videos, that one is a absolute key that SoundHound has to hold. Aside from that though, you have the only negative is the fact that it's overbought, and I think a lot of stocks are like that. So if there is a first sign of weakness, whether it be specific to SoundHound or just a broader market, then you could see a little bit of a pullback. But even though there has been some fear over the last couple of trading days linked to data points, oddly, as I mentioned even in my video yesterday, SoundHound is holding up relatively good. So that's definitely something to take note of. And during that time period, shorts are returning. So I don't know what's up with them, but I'm not really going to complain. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Are you buying SoundHound? Are you selling? What is your general thoughts with it? And what is your viewpoint, for instance, on Resolve AI? I know I mentioned I was going to do a compare and contrast video last weekend. I'll plan that for this weekend. The only bad thing about Resolve is they don't actually have really any financials. So it's just comparing possibilities for the future and their product itself. So I can't really compare, of course, key metrics or whatever. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.